I was just we were sharing our workout routines, and we'll get into that in a second. But I gave the example of me being in the gym, right? Me
Yeah.
working out, and I was telling the story of how my gym really literally reopened after a month. They were shifting and stuff, and I was just telling that how I really I was going there when I was going there after a month. I was excited, and me being there, it was therapeutic. It was like for me, it was like being in heaven or something. And I actually told Ryan that I actually fell in love. I actually fell in love with the machine. It's called a power. I can use to do squats and deadlifts. And for me, that was not about. It was like a romance that we had going. Now it was not about. For me, it's a lot about. I have that positive addiction. For I know that it's going to be very difficult when I'm in the gym. I really push myself, but then I know it feels really good. It's really therapeutic. It feels really good. So when I was building this habit in the start, it was really difficult. You don't want to go. It's like who wants to expose themselves to literally torture?
Yeah.
It is
Right.
physical torture
Right.
in a sense, and it's stress and you're breaking yourself down. Who wants to do that?
Right.
But then when you do that for a couple of times, the reward of I think the reward of the positive things that you do, of the positive habits, it comes afterwards, not before. For
Yeah.
example, uh, you smoking a cigarette. Let's say if somebody has a habit of smoking, the reward is not that they would feel good after it. They might feel bad after doing that. Like, why would I did it? Uh, they feel good before they do it. They think about the thing like, okay, I'm gonna put this thing in my mouth, but when you go to the gym, for example, or wake up early, it doesn't feel good as you're doing it. It doesn't also feel good before you're doing it. It feels good afterward, because
Yeah.
there's that the reward that your brain gives you is after you do the thing. So
Right.
it's really, I feel it's a lot about how much can you delay your gratification,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So it's
Because
like
if
that saying, if you do what's easy, you're going to live a life that's hard. But if you do what's hard, you're going to live a life that's easy. Right. So, like,
definitely,
smoking a cigarette is really easy. Like, any of us can just start today, right now. Like, we pick one up, we light it, right? How many going to the gym? Not so much though, right? Because, like, first off, there's a psychological factor. Most of us don't want to work out because maybe we think we're fat, maybe we think we're out of shape, whatever the case is. We make up all these excuses, essentially, are what they are, and then we just never do it, right? So then what ends up happening, a year from now, oh, suddenly we have diabetes, suddenly we have all these issues. So we're living a hard life, right? We decided to do what's easy and just like to lounge around on the couch or sleep in and just not work out, and then we face the consequences, right? Where the reverse is, you do what's easy now, like smoking the cigarette, and then a year from later, oh, you have lung cancer. So
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So how do you what would you say? Let's say there's a person who is out of shape. There's a person who doesn't have that self discipline to eat well, to take care of his body, or maybe has that self discipline to do the things that he always wants to do. He has
yeah.
all these goals, but he isn't following through. How do you build that discipline from the ground up, I would say?
So it's definitely not easy. I think most of us realize that discipline is hard, like especially when we first start. And I think that's what deters a lot of people. But I think there are two things we can do to kind of make it a little easier, a little more manageable. So the first thing, I know everybody says it, right? Everybody says this, and it's probably cliche at this point, but they say you gotta wake up early. You set the alarm and get up. Do not hit the snooze button. Jocko says that all the time. Get out of bed. No excuses. And, like, everybody says it though. So, like, it sounds like it's just one of those like platitudes that, people like us will say, but man, it's profound. And it's because getting out of bed is such a simple choice. It's the easiest way to start developing discipline, right? Because, like, you wake up, you're still kind of groggy, of course, right? You're still kind of tired. But the only thing you have to decide to do is get out of bed. Like, swing your legs over the bed and stand up. Get out of bed. And that's a really simple choice to make. Maybe it's hard. I mean, especially at first, it's going to be harder, But in terms of the physicality involved in it, it's an easy choice.